Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how I think that we are potentially at the peak of new car prices and how new cars are only going to get more affordable as time goes on. Before we get in this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So yes, I am claiming that new car prices are most likely at their peak, and it's only downhill from here on. And frankly, the data supports it. Like if you've been following the channel for the last few weeks, then you know that the new car data shows that pretty much every single week new car affordability keeps improving because, well, people are making slightly more money as time goes on, and new car prices are trending downwards as time goes on as well. And I just kind of want to talk about this whole situation and explain why this is the peak and why, you know, this current like downwards trend that we are seeing is not just a blip and that prices are going to increase yet again. So if you look at the peak of the used car market that happened at the end of 2021, then what you'll note is that used car prices were at the peak of everything else in the market. Like you look at the stock market, you look at cryptocurrency, you look at house prices, everything pretty much peaked out at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. New car prices, however, did not do that, right? With new car prices, they didn't really start ramping up until throughout most of 2022. Like a lot of new cars had their biggest price increases in 2022. And something to note is that in 2021, interest rates were like next to nothing, whereas we had all of our rate hikes over the course of 2022. And so it seemed like automakers, at the same time that interest rates were increasing, they were also increasing their prices, which is obviously not sustainable with a car market where within the new car market, you have about 85% of buyers that are going to use credit to purchase cars. And so as 2022 rolled forward, the buying power of consumers just continued to decline because prices went up and the credit to buy these vehicles also increased. It got more expensive. And so new cars just like got exponentially more expensive over the course of the year. And now this is what we are seeing today, where we're seeing the cracks and where we're seeing prices start to come down because affordability is just not there. Interest rates are not going to go down anytime soon. And so the only way for vehicles to start selling is if prices come down. Now, the other factor as to why used car prices obviously got so high and why new car prices got so high is because of availability, right? You know, the used car prices ran up because people couldn't get new cars because everything was sold out. And well, we aren't in that market anymore with new cars, at least. Used cars are still pretty constrained. But when it comes to new vehicles, there are a lot of manufacturers that now have a day supply number of over 100 days. That means that it would take over 100 days for them to sell out of all their inventory that they have here in the US market. And as time goes on, the average amount of supply that automakers have across the board is consistently increasing. Like we're almost at an average of a 60-day supply. And with what I have been hearing from a bunch of different dealers with what their respective automakers have been telling them, it looks like inventory is about to like have a huge surge over the next few months. Like there are a lot of automakers that have been pretty constrained over the course of the last couple of years that, you know, it's not the best situation in terms of manufacturing. Like they don't all of a sudden have enough stuff to be able to produce like as many cars as what they're doing prior to the pandemic, but they're going to be able to release a bunch of cars. And with the increase in supply at the same time that we still have these higher interest rates, right, and we have these higher prices, it's just this storm for, okay, there's going to be a lot of cars available and they're all going to be really expensive, and it's going to be really expensive to buy these cars because credit is so expensive. And so the only way for these automakers to move these vehicles is bring prices down. And so this is why I believe that we are at the peak of the market when it comes to pricing. I think that this is the most expensive that we're going to see, at least over the course of the short term and the medium term. Now, you know, if we go into the future 10 years, yeah, cars are going to be more expensive. That's just the general thing that happens, right? Inflation is a thing. But I'd be willing to bet that if you look at the average transaction price of a car today, and then you fast forward 6 months, a year from now, the average transaction price of a brand new car is going to be substantially less than it is today because there's going to be bigger dealer discounts and there's going to be more rebates on cars. Again, we are slowly transitioning into a market where dealers have inventory with pretty much every single type of vehicle. I mean, there are vehicles that are even, typically considered more, premium type vehicles or hotter vehicles on the market. And even those vehicles are starting to, quote unquote, rot on dealer lots where they're just not selling as fast as what they used to be. And so that is just kind of like adding into this whole situation. And speaking of these more premium type vehicles, I'm starting to see a lot of these markups go away because the dealers are only able to sell these cars if they sell them without the markups or with a substantially smaller markup, because again, that's all the market can support at this time. And so what this is going to lead to is it's going to lead to fewer markups across the board and smaller markups, which is going to bring down the average price of a car. And again, it's going to take us off of the peak. And so again, I know this video is a little bit more quote unquote tinfoil hatty in a sense, but I don't think so. I think that the data supports this. Again, the data shows that every single week new car prices continue to trend downwards, affordability continues to trend upwards, at the same time that interest rates haven't decreased at all. Frankly, they're most likely going to increase. And so the only way that is happening is if these prices are coming down. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about the new car situation. Do you think that this is the peak of the market? Do you think that this is as expensive as new cars are going to get, again, in the short to medium term, not obviously in the long term? Or do you think that we're just going to keep seeing price hikes from manufacturers and cars are just going to keep getting more expensive and manufacturers are just going to be okay with, I guess, selling fewer cars? I'd be interested to hear from you guys. See ya.